Zionism was the opportunity for the Jewish people to play out on a big stage all those aspects of Judaism that couldn't be played out in diaspora. It was the Jewish people's big chance. Right? So here we have thousands of pages of legal literature describing what a Jewish society should look like when we're actually in charge. Most of the time that legal literature was being written, it was being written by people for whom it was entirely a theoretical exercise. And now you actually have a state in which questions of how do Jews run a public square, or what does it mean for Jews to own weapons, go from being theoretical questions to real questions. And we get to test out, Zionism becomes the testing ground for how good is Judaism. Like, we finally get to answer that question. So Hartman writes as follows: I live with the guarded hope that out of this complex and vibrant new Jewish reality will emerge new spiritual directions for the way that Judaism will be lived in the modern world. Israel expands the possible range of halachic, that is, Jewish legal involvement in human affairs, beyond the circumscribed borders of home and synagogue and into the public domain. Right? Judaism in diaspora was about home and synagogue, and now we actually get to be in charge of the whole society. Jews in Israel are given the opportunity to bring economic, social, and political issues into the center of their religious consciousness, and so forth. Right? So that's what the state of Israel is about. It's our it's like our time, finally, to see whether Judaism works. Now again, advantages and trapdoors. What's compelling about this vision of the state of Israel is that it turns Israel from being parochial to being the great testing ground for the Jewish people, and it invites diaspora Jews to be co-creators. If Judaism is being tested in a radically new way by the state of Israel, it's not merely the responsibility of those people who live there, but it's the responsibility of Jews around the world to help shape what Judaism will mean. Again, Hadassah has a piece of this. Right? If you feel it's your responsibility to build up the social and civic and medical and other sectors of Israel's society, that may originate from a sense that we are implicated by this story. If it's successful for all of us and the Jewish people, and therefore we have a stake in it. I guess the trap here, because he doesn't go to the universalist extent that Buber goes, and it's not quite the perfect, it's the enemy of the good, but in this picture, you're always fighting uphill. Right? The capacity to be disappointed is very high. The sense in which if you believe that Israel is the stage on which the Jewish people are being tested, it creates a tremendous amount of constant tension. Right? Because it means that you have to, what's that? Pressure. You constantly feel that it's not just that you're disappointed by the status quo at the Kotel. You're viewing the Kotel as an exemplar of how the Jewish people run a synagogue. Right? And when it goes wrong, it kind of implicates the value of the project. Is it possible for a Zionism like this to be fueled indefinitely? Right? Are there points at which you give up? And I wonder, whether some of what I think was David Hartman's cynicism by the end of his life may have stemmed from some sadness around this. Of like, you're always pushing the state of Israel to be the testing ground for how good you can be. And sometimes you can take great pride in it. And there were moments, even in the past 35 years, when the state of Israel could say, yeah, this is how a Jewish people runs a Jewish state. And there were a lot of moments where you'd say, oh my God, I can't believe we blew it. So what I'm laying out in front of you, and I'm curious for you to do this yourselves, of like, which of these do you gravitate towards? What I would guess is, I think all of us do this, depending on who you're arguing with, you may inhabit each of these postures in different ways.